Hey, what's good, everybody? We're back. This is the Fryar Place. I know this is not our usual time, but I told you I'm going to be switching it up. And whenever I can get a guest on, I don't care if it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day of the week, we're going to make it happen. So I'll try to always advertise a little bit ahead of time so you have a heads up so that you can join us live. But listen, we're in the house. We got a great guest tonight. And before we bring her on, we got to pay some bills. All right. So listen, if you're watching right now, throw something in the comments, say hi, let me know who's watching right now so we can shout out to you. If you have any questions as we move forward in tonight's program for our guest or for me, just throw a Q up, capital Q, semicolon, and then write your question. That way it'll catch my eye. And I'll be able to address your question and hopefully satisfy your need for the night. But before we get into the rest of the show, check this out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Irving Fryar. I am a former NFL wide receiver. I played for the New England Patriots, the Miami Dolphins, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Redskins. I got something for you. Are you ready to transform your fitness routine? I have here introducing the new Unlimited Body Trainer. Say goodbye to your boring workouts and hello to excitement with over 150 exercises designed to strengthen your abs and your total body. Whether you're a beginner or an athlete like me, our brand new handmade grips ensure every session is comfortable and effective. Proudly made in the United States of America, this powerhouse holds up to 300 pounds. You can't get to the gym? No problem. With our Fit in 15 key sessions, you can achieve a full body workout in just 15 minutes. Experience resistance training, metabolic training, core workouts, and band training, all from the comfort of your own space. But that's not all. Our special elite gear package includes foot sliders, resistance bands, gloves, and a convenient carrying bag. Plus, don't miss out on our exclusive supplements and apparel available on our website. Lose up to 25 pounds in just 2 months. It's time to seize the moment. For men and women, for athletes and fitness enthusiasts, the Unlimited Body Trainer is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Make the change today. To make everything easier, download the app today and unleash your potential with the Unlimited Body Trainer.
All right, we are back. Y'all check out that body trainer. You know, I use that when I can't get to the gym. It's been specifically kind of useful these last few days with all this snow. I'm trying to get up early in the morning and make our way to the gym. That's what we do. But listen, I got a great guest for tonight. She is awesome. Straight out of Ewing, New Jersey. 3-time Division I soccer All-American out of LaSalle. Come on, y'all. Soccer Hall of Fame. She's a sports anchor and analyst for ESPN and NBC. She's also a sideline reporter with NBA, MLB, the NFL, the WNBA, MLS, NLL, and college athlete. She's an entrepreneur. She's a motivational speaker. She's a model. She's an author. I don't know what else she is, but that's a mouthful. She's a mouthful. She is, and she gets me tired just thinking about all that stuff. But y'all put your hands together for our guest, Renee Washington. Renee Washington is in the house. There's a lot of people clapping. What's up, Renee? Oh, I got you on mute. Hold on. Let me take you off of mute. I'm sorry. Now we can hear you.
It's fine. It's fine. I was just enjoying this moment just to take in that incredible introduction. And the crowd audience, thank you. Thank you for the applause. Irving, it's such a pleasure to join you. And you are very multifaceted, multi-skilled yourself. So from one to the other, and you've accomplished way more than I have. But I appreciate you for the incredible welcome.
Well, listen, I thank you so much for being on the show. And listen, I'm one of those cats, you know, I'm 63 years old. And I tell people all the time, you know, I multitask here doing my show. And I tell people all the time, listen, if I can do this, you can do this. Because, you know, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box. But, you know, if we put time in and we figure it out, and we get it done. We do what we have to do. But I so much appreciate you being on today, Renee. I've been able to do some research about you and watch you, and it's just awesome. It's awesome to have you on the show. My first question to you is this, because we're going to talk about what you do, but I want to talk about who you are. I mean, African-American woman, sister, who grew up in New Jersey, you in New Jersey, and you're a Hall of Fame soccer player. You play soccer for the LaSalle. And I mean, I saw your stats and I saw all the awards. It's amazing. You got a page like this long of awards that you've gotten playing soccer. How did you get interested in what happened? How did you play soccer? How did you start playing soccer as a young lady?
Yeah, it's a great question. And honestly, I'm fortunate and blessed that I come from a sports family. Both my
Okay.
mom and dad played sports. They played basketball. My dad actually played basketball professionally overseas. And so for my siblings and I, all four of us were introduced to sports at a young age, and we
Mm-hmm.
were given the opportunity to try every sport. And of course, basketball was one we were going to play. We're tall, it's in the
Yeah.
family. We were going to play basketball regardless. But my parents at least gave us the opportunity to try other sports. I tried softball, tennis, soccer, swimming, you named it, we tried it. And so soccer was one that really stuck. And I was so fortunate. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's been 12 years since
Yeah,
I
because
graduated from
you
LaSalle.
look like a basketball player as tall as you are.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm 5'11", and so on the soccer field, my height, my athleticism, but I was also able, as a soccer player, to take a lot of what I learned in basketball to correlate it into my role as an attacking centerman, as a forward, as a goal scorer,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of those same movements, the cuts, the way you roll off a pick, the way you even go back door, you can get end line in soccer. There's a lot that's similar that I actually pulled from, that I was able to take from my basketball and just sports background period to be a better soccer player. So honestly, soccer was always a sport that I could play effortlessly. It
Really?
was a sport
Wow.
without fear. I could play with anybody, boys, girls, older, younger. It did not matter. I was always ready to jump in. I was always walking around with a soccer ball. I was always kicking up against the fence and working on shooting or dribbling or anything. And that's what I learned. It was my passion. It was my
Wow.
first love, in the sense that I wanted to play all the time. Other sports, other things, you might have had to, mom and dad had to ask me, not soccer. That was the
Uh-huh.
one that you had to tell me, okay, that's enough. Stop playing in
Really?
the basement, stop playing in the living
Wow.
room, stop playing wherever. And then I had two older sisters that are 3 years older than me. They're twins, and they would just beat up on me. And I was jumping into their practices. I was following in their footsteps and still do. And that helped me a lot too, just to kind of always be trying to keep up with them. That it
Mm-hmm.
challenged me to raise my level and raise my game at a young age.
Nice, nice. Now the issue I always had with soccer is that there's just too much running. It's just you run all the time. I
Yep.
mean, we run out of anybody on a football field. I was a wide receiver. We run more than
Yep.
anybody else when it comes to football. But you're constantly running in soccer. I don't know how you all do that. That was just a game that I was not very interested in, because you didn't stop moving. You just kept running the whole
Yes.
time. So that's admirable from
And
my
it's
side of it.
something. Yeah, and honestly, it's something that I didn't even think about, because it was just the norm for me. I loved to run. In fact, I miss running, like, at that level of
Wow.
being able to just run for miles and miles. I was a player that, as a three-time All-American and all the records that
Hmm.
I set, I was on the field a lot. I was playing full games. I was as I mentioned, an attacking center midfielder, which means I was on offense, I was on defense, I was all over the place.
Wow.
So, in addition to playing forward, it was just different types of running where I was just going. And I
Hmm.
think when I look back on it, it's crazy you even mention it, because I was also the person that was winning all the fitness tests, was fastest on the team,
Okay.
was setting even records in that regard as well. And so I've always just challenged myself on the physical toughness that correlates into the mental toughness as well. Of, I don't care if I'm tired, I'm gonna go. And a lot of my goals were overtime goals, game winning goals,
Okay. Yeah.
championship goals.
Hmm.
So it was also, now I'm gonna take the base and that foundation of fitness to ensure that in those toughest moments, I'm still digging deep, I'm still pushing through. And honestly, that's who I am today, still to
Yeah.
this day. Of I'm not running the same way, but I'm still always on the move, as you alluded to with my introduction.
You in high school when you graduated, you're in the high school yearbook listed as the most athletic as far as the females. You're the most athletic female in your
Correct.
class.
That was always
So
me.
So you mentioned basketball. Besides basketball, were there any other sports you played?
Yeah, I actually ran track in college too. A lot
In
of people don't
college,
realize
wow.
that.
Okay,
Yes,
we
I
got
was a two sport
we have a
athlete.
lot in common. I mean, we're born in
Yeah.
New Jersey. All right. I ran track in college, played football as well, and then we'll get to this later, but we also were. I don't know exactly what your title was, but we both worked for ABC, WPVI.
Mhm.
We both
Mhm.
worked as a kind of reporter for sports. I
I
did the
didn't even
same thing,
realize
kind of the
that.
same thing as
Yes.
you. You didn't know that. See, you didn't know that. I
No,
did
I
that
didn't.
before.
I'm learning
Well,
something
I did that
new.
before you were born. That's before you were born.
But it all is the same place,
Yeah,
regardless.
it's all the same place. So you ran
Yes.
track. And are you in the record books in your high school in track?
So I ran in middle school, did not run in high school, I ran in college.
Oh,
Go
college.
figure.
Okay.
But I was actually really good at track. Like I listen, I don't have to toot my horn for soccer because the accolades speak for themselves. But I'm a
Uh huh.
toot for track and basketball. I got to toot a little bit more because I was like
What did you run? What race did you run?
I ran the mile and I
Oh,
ran the
yeah,
half
that
marathon.
figures.
Love
See,
running.
soccer. See, soccer. A mile. You didn't run the 100 or the 200. You ran the
Right.
mile. Yeah.
And then in college, I also would run the 400 and the 200. And so
Mm-hmm.
I actually in middle school, I never lost. I was undefeated in middle school. Okay, but
Oh, okay.
I
Step back. All right.
I got a suit on the track side because nobody knows.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it just wasn't, to be honest. I liked running, but I liked running with a goal, literally a goal, soccer goal. But track for me, just running around in circles, it wasn't something I was as passionate about. And actually, I wish I could have done more with it, but
Mm-hmm.
it just wasn't there. It wasn't, the passion wasn't there the same way. Basketball was always one I loved, but soccer was it was like tiers of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed it, and it definitely helped to kind of cross train muscles and in the off season be able to work on other things. And so that's a big reason why I was running track was, for our team, our coach had us doing track workouts, and then the track coach was like, wait, but you're actually good. So we're going to have you doing some, training with the team and competing. And
Mm-hmm.
so just it was a great way to cross train, honestly, in that
Wow.
regard. So
Wow.
yeah.
And there are many people, and you're a perfect example of it. By way of, we're going to talk about some of the other things that you do. I mentioned earlier that you're a model, you're author, you're a motivational speaker, you're an entrepreneur, along with what you do in terms of your broadcasting and anchoring and your analyst with NBC and with ESPN. You've taken that determination and that work ethic and the consistency, your determination. You've taken all of that and you shifted it, not just from sports, but you've taken and you shifted it over into whatever it is you're doing now. And so many people
Exactly.
have been able to do that in a successful way, and obviously that you're doing that. But I know for a fact there have been challenges along the way. You're an African American, a black woman, beautiful, young, and you're a
Thank you.
sports anchor in what some would say a man's world. I know there have been challenges for you, some more so
Hmm.
than if you were a white female trying to do the same thing that you're doing. And we're just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it. Look, I'm 63 years old. I don't care no more. I say what I got. I say what I want to say. But I know there have been challenges. So can you tell me or tell us? And we got a few viewers on. I'll mention them later. We got some folk watching. Yeah, my followers are on right now. Eddie
Love
Casper and
that.
Billy Bell and Rob Coles and Star Wars is on. So can you tell us some of the challenges that you've had and had to overcome, or even still have right now? Because as we were talking earlier, you were saying, yeah, you moved and you made some shifts and you made some pivots in your life pertaining to your career. Some because they were better for you, is something that you need to do, but some were because of some friction that was going on.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And the first thing that you mentioned in regards to my similarities and passions and interests as a hustler mindset as an athlete has correlated into who I am as a person.
Hmm.
And it's really helped fuel me. And honestly, I always have people ask, like, how do you do it? And what is the key? And how do you juggle so much? And I'm like, I've always done that. I
Right.
was a person, I mentioned I was a two sport athlete. I graduated in 3.5 years with a double minor and then went on to get my master's. I've always been one that believes in going the extra mile. I do not like to do the bare minimum because I'm a Black woman. And I know in this world, in this country, I can't get away with doing the same things that maybe colleagues or counterparts can do. So my parents raised myself and my siblings to understand you have to be 10 times better. You have to always do more. And so I naturally have always found myself trying to continue to find ways to elevate, to be better, to perfect my craft, to refine my skills, to continue to challenge myself. I'm a life learner. I'm always trying to learn something new, reading a book, whatever it is I can do to continue to push the needle. And the same way that that motivation and that mindset correlates to my career is the same way that the challenges do as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I dealt with a ton of challenges as a soccer player because I was such a good player, because I was a player that was a Black goal scorer that was tall. My dad coached me in youth soccer. Like the list goes on and on of all the different reasons why I often had to hear she's not technical enough. She's just athletic. She's just faster. All the different ways that we try to characterize Black athletes as
Right.
just being athletic, as if we don't have any brains between our ears to be able
Mm-hmm.
to have a high IQ, to be able to break down the defense and what we're seeing and on the fly make adjustments. And so that same type of the politics, the favoritism, the noise, the way I had to always prove myself. I wasn't supposed to be an All-American. I wasn't supposed to get an opportunity to play professional soccer. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't supposed to be someone that's accomplished these things as all the first and still have records that I hold and goals and assists, because I was always told I wasn't good enough,
Right.
or all these excuses as to why I was good. Meanwhile, I had teammates that were doing half as much as me, yet were given this green light as if they were the best thing coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that I do always say is I loved soccer. I eventually stepped away partly because of the toxicity, and I regret that, of just letting other people push me away from something
Right.
I love doing. But what
Right.
I also love is that soccer taught me so much about how to be prepared to be successful in this world. And I have had a lot of moments where I've had to figure out, where do I draw the line? What are those
Mm-hmm.
boundaries in terms of ethics, in terms of who I am, of how much I'm going to tolerate, how much I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to push through, and knowing that I've dealt with everything from sexual harassment, abuse, and comments, to toxicity of people literally telling me, you can't be live, you're not good enough to be on camera, you're not good enough to talk sports.
Oh.
I've heard it all. And so I, as a younger mindset, as a kid, when I dealt with that in sports, naturally believed some of that. But now I recognize as an adult, it's not the case. And I see that there are plenty of people that are getting opportunities and plenty of people in roles that are doing half as much as I'm doing. Again,
Right.
just like as a soccer player. And I do often find myself saying, if I were white, if I were a man, would
Mm-hmm.
I be fighting these same battles that I'm
No.
fighting? And the
No.
truth is no.
Right.
But the reality is that doesn't mean I stopped fighting. So I know for a fact that there are others that have experienced similar issues and things that they've dealt with. And I have quit jobs. I have walked away from opportunities because I refuse to be put in a situation where I'm going to allow someone to continue to belittle me, disrespect me, talk
Mm-hmm.
down to me.
Mm-hmm.
And also, to me, it's a matter of, are you setting me up for success, or are you truly setting me up to fail? So then you
Right.
can turn around and say, oh, but you weren't good enough, if I was never really given the same opportunity to actually be successful.
Right.
So I have had a lot of great opportunities in this industry. I don't take any of them for granted, and I'm thankful for all of them, the good and the bad, because they've
Mm-hmm.
all had an opportunity to teach me something.
Right.
But
Right.
I also know for a fact that there's still a lot more that needs to be done in this industry, because there are people like myself that I may never truly make it to certain positions, roles, opportunities, strictly because of what I look like. Strictly because I also have been told, as a Black woman, I can't be an analyst. I didn't play professional soccer long enough, or I don't have a big enough following, or I don't have whatever the thing may be. Like, pick a thing, pick a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
I
But
remember I was being
how many
told,
analysts do you
yeah.
have doing professional football right now, talking about professional football, and they never played professional football? Never.
Listen, this is why I've always been a writer. I've always been a speaker, and this is why I actively, much like you talked about, like, I know one of my callings in life is, it's time to share some of these things, because the amount of things
Right.
I've been told, and not in a way of like trying to get revenge and speaking up because I want anything out of it. I strictly just want to bring to light what's being kept in the dark and what people are quietly saying to me and thinking I'm going to just quietly take. When, as you mentioned, soccer, for example, I came out of college in 2014, excuse me. The
Hmm.
NWSL was just completing their first full season as a professional league. And for
Hmm.
anyone that knows the history of soccer, there had been several iterations of women's professional soccer
Right.
that folded in the United
Right.
States.
Right.
So when I came out and players were making anywhere from like $3,000 to $4,000 a year as a lower range salary, I guess you can call that a salary for the year,
You got
living
to go
with
get
host
another job.
families.
That's your second.
Right.
Look, soccer was your
Living with
second job. You had to go
were
work during the day. Yeah.
living with host families, no resources, didn't have the stadiums, had a lot of toxicity. That was still in the midst of abuse and harassment and things going on in the league
Right.
that was swept under the rug. And I stepped away because I was given the opportunity to get my master's degree, coach college soccer at Lehigh. I never truly had the same opportunity to even be a professional soccer player in this
Right.
country.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not fair to say you didn't play long enough when the league hasn't even been around long enough. But
Right.
that's just one example of the types
Hmm.
of excuses, because then I turn on and see people that didn't play at all or didn't even play soccer at a high level or not a three-time All-American and are still covering. But again, to each their own. What my vision, what my life is pushing me in the direction of and has pushed me in the direction of is I have a testimony, and I know for a fact that is what keeps me going, knowing that I can help other people through my experiences. On the outside, it's wow, you're an All-American. Wow, you're doing all these great things. The reality is I did all these great things in spite of all the adversity that I faced and could have done and wanted to do more if I didn't have to fight every step of the way.
Wow. Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
and I just assumed things were like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a realist. I know how this world is. I know how this country is.
Yeah.
I know how sports, how people run things in sports when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
choosing analysts and putting people in place and giving favoritism and so on and so forth. When I came into the league, women were just kind of starting to break in, but there were no black women. There were no African American women doing any sideline reporting or doing anything in the locker rooms or doing any reporting on sports. They were white women, and there were issues. There were issues and challenges back then. But I know for a fact because I've been in sports. I've been I was in the NFL for 17 years, so I know there are challenges that you have to face. I know there are hurdles that you have to get over. I know that it's a constant bombardment of challenges that you have to deal with on an everyday basis. And for you to be where you are right now and having the success that you're having, listen, hats off to you, sister girl. You're in New Jersey. You said you live in New Jersey. I'm your lifetime supporter. You can call me Uncle Irving. Listen, they mess with you, you call Uncle Irving. And
Okay.
you
Listen,
call.
I saw the workout videos. Okay, you still got it, so
Oh,
I will call you.
you call me. So what would be if you're talking if there's a teenage African American teenage young lady who sees what you're doing, she's been watching you, she's been listening to you, she admires you, and she wants to do what you're doing right now. She wants to grow up, go to college, come out and be a broadcaster, an analyst, sideline reporter, do the same thing you're doing. What would be your message to her?
Yeah, I think one of the big things I always try to be very honest about, and I won't go into, depending on the people, the age, the demographic, determines how in detail I will go with it. But
Mm-hmm.
the reality is, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, you know, it looks glamorous. I know people tell me all the time, oh my gosh, you're traveling all over the place and you look like you're having so much fun and this and this. It's not, it's never all that
Right.
it seems. You have no idea the reality of the nightmare of what I put up with on a day-to-day basis and what I've overcome and what I've had to work through. It's never going to be easy, but you're going to get stronger. You're going to get smarter, and it is going to be worth it. Because just like that fight I had to become an All-American, become a Hall of Famer was worth it, as I was someone, whether it was opponents marking me as a threat or internal politics and whatever else I dealt with, that was something that easily could have stopped me. There were many times I could have completely given up or been discouraged, and I pushed through. You know, you have to find ways to control what you can control. It's just like being an athlete. There's going to be so much noise around you. so much going on. Then we didn't get into the social media aspect of the societal pressures and what that brings, of feeling like you're always comparing yourself to others and never
Right.
in the right spot and always have so much more that you need to be doing. But the reality is, you run your marathon, not a sprint. It's one day at a time. You're going to deal with adversity, but you focus on what you can control to do the little things. Okay, I'm dealing with this toxicity here. What can I do to combat that? Or maybe I'm not getting the opportunities I want. How can I still create something for myself? Maybe I launch my own podcast. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm freelance writing somewhere. There's always a way, but you just have to stay persistent and determined, because the bigger the bigger the blessings you have in your life, and you know this, Irving, the bigger the
Yes.
test, the bigger the
Yes.
challenges.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
not going, it's getting difficult because you're getting closer, you're getting better, and not everybody wants you to succeed. So
Yeah.
I just like to be very honest with people about, don't get into anything for the short-term surface level glitz and glamour of it. If you're doing something, you have to go 100% all in, because it's what you're passionate about. Because when you do have those hard days that challenge you, it's a lot easier when it's something you actually care about versus it's something you're just doing for the fame or
Right.
the glory because it looks fun on the outside. So it's be ready. Just be ready for the fight,
That's
the
awesome.
challenges, but know you're going to also have the days that remind you. I mean, I've had kids come up to me, I've had parents come up to me, I've had people message or email or reach out on social media and just saying things like, thank you. You know, I had a child that saw me on TV and told their parent they wanted to be on TV because they saw someone that looked like them in me. So
Mm-hmm.
that representation, those moments you have, those to me help combat all the negative. When I have that one person
Right.
that just
Right.
reminds me this is why I'm doing it. Even if
Yeah.
it's one person I've changed, it might be one person watching this show,
Mm-hmm.
it might be one person that saw my game earlier today. One person is all that makes a difference for me to know that I'm in the right spot.
If I can help somebody along the way, then my living will not be in vain. You know that.
There
Come
you
on,
go.
you
There you
know that.
go.
But
Come on.
you mentioned about getting close and getting close to your goal and it getting harder. I call that. I use football illustrations. I call that the red zone. You know, well, you're a sports analyst, you know that. When you those first 80 yards, you know, you may get 15 yards at a clip, 20 yards at a clip, you're getting first downs and things are moving pretty smooth. But then when you get to the red zone, in that last 20 yards, you got people are coming in the game that you hadn't seen before. You got a strategist who's sitting up high, looking down low, scheming to try to keep you from reaching your goal. And it gets harder to reach your goal the closer you get to your goal. When you see that happening, stuff happening that never happened before, people showing up, things going crazy, you're in the red zone. You're close to your goal. You got to keep on going, keep on pressing, keep on pushing. Why? Because you're close. That's why it's difficult. Because the enemy's not going to just stand back and let you just walk into your
Correct.
destiny. Come on now.
Correct.
And look, you got me getting excited here. Because
But I
listen,
will say,
go ahead.
I was
Go
gonna say,
ahead.
I will say that's the type of thinking when you change your perspective and you can see the bigger picture of what does this mean.
Right.
To me, in my life, I've had so much adversity, and because of my experiences as an athlete, it helps me to understand that is a good thing. When you are a marked person, when you are a threat, that means you have talent, that means you
Yes.
have blessings, that means you have opportunities that
Yes.
people are trying to keep you from. So
Mm-hmm.
that is something I also try to explain. It's kind of like when you have haters, that means you also have fans, like you're
Right.
not getting one without the other. When you
Right.
get in the red zone, just like when you get in the 18 of a soccer field, you're getting closer towards the goal. Okay, back by midfield, you're passing, it's slow. As you get closer to the goal, now you see people, they're fouling a little bit more, they're getting into you a little bit more. The pressure is on, and you have to keep the pressure on because
Mm-hmm.
that makes people uncomfortable. But that is how you know you are right where you need to be. So I
Right.
also like to stress that same concept of recognize if you want to do something great, if you want to do something that's impactful and influential, changing the game in some way, you're going to have resistance. But that resistance means you're doing the right thing and you have to keep going.
And the resistance is what makes you strong. The resistance is what
Mm-hmm.
makes you resilient. I've never learned anything when the sun was shining. Everything that I've learned when it was raining, when it was a storm, when it was dark, when the winds were blowing, when the waves were crashing. That's when I learned. That's when I got better.
Yes.
That's where I've gained my wisdom. When the sun was shining, I didn't learn anything, and we don't learn in the good times. We appreciate the good times, but we get better in the struggle. We get better in the struggle. You're a motivational speaker as well. I've read that you like to to tell stories when you're doing when you're doing your motivational speaking, and I like to do that as well. I'm a preacher though. I don't call it a motivational speaker. I'm a preacher. I just preach fire and brimstone. Tell me one of the stories that you want to. What's your favorite story to tell when you're doing your storytelling as a motivational speaker? I know you got a bunch of them, but I know you got one or two that are your favorite ones, your go-tos.
Yeah. So I do speak a lot on my faith and on my relationship with God. So I'm no preacher, but there is a lot of underlying religion within that. But I always stress that's what is impactful and meaningful for me. Take it however you want. I
No,
have
no, no,
lots
no,
of
no, no. Wait now. The Bible says, "Let the redeemed of the
okay,
Lord
preacher.
say so." So everybody who is a Christian who has been redeemed by the blood of Christ, you ought to open your mouth and say so.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's exactly it. I'm like, I speak on my religion, and
Right.
I'm not afraid to talk about what God has done in my life. So for me, I think one that really jumps out at me, and this actually happened recently, is I had an experience where I was just driving home on the New Jersey Turnpike, and there was the car side, the truck side, the usual drive I've done a million times. I knew exactly where I was going. This day I was actually coming from a meeting, so I was coming a little bit different for how I was getting to the turnpike. So I had the directions on, but the directions stayed on even once I got onto the turnpike, and I was ignoring them. Music's going, I'm just driving. I know where I'm going at this point, but the directions are still there. And all of a sudden, I noticed the directions were taking me off the turnpike. And I was like, well, why am I getting off the turnpike? My exit's not for another 30, 40 minutes. Like I wasn't close. So what are we getting off for? So I was, looking at it and I kept seeing, I'm like, it's time to get off in a mile. Why am I getting off? So last second, I safely decide, you know what? Maybe the directions are taking me a different route. They're seeing something. Let me follow. So I get off the turnpike. And then as soon as I get off the turnpike, my directions on my screen look like a jigsaw puzzle or something crazy, just
Yeah.
lines all over the place.
Uh-huh.
And I recognized it was taking me all this wind and left, turn right, turn around, just all this confusion. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just follow it. It puts me back on the turnpike. It takes me off to put me back on, but this time it puts me on the other side. I was on the car side. It put me on the truck side. I'm like, you just took 5 minutes. At this point, I was hungry. I was hangry. I was
You
tired.
hangry.
I was tired. I'm like, you just added 5 minutes to my drive. I just want to get home. It was one of those long days where it just felt like everything was kind of like adding on to the day, and I'm just trying to get back home. I'm like, what is this? That you just added 5 minutes? Less than half a mile away. I kid you not. Massive standstill traffic.
Yes.
Where the 3 lanes of the turnpike were getting merged into one. Everybody was just sitting there, parking lot sitting there, not moving for miles and miles.
Ooh.
What that traffic was sitting there. And here I was in my truck lane flying by it. And it's just something that, like, when that happened to me, it gave me chills because I was hesitant. I was questioning the navigator the same way sometimes we question God, the same way we question things in our lives of why are you redirecting me? I know where I'm going. I've done this a million times. How are you taking me off? And then only to find out you're putting me right back on. And now my initial reaction was you just wasted 5 minutes of my drive to get off the highway and get back on the highway. But in reality, that 5 minute delay, that 5 minute redirect really helped me to avoid what was a much bigger disruption. And in life, there are so many times we're getting redirected and we're getting delayed, but we're not denied. And I love the concept of understanding you sometimes are not going to see that traffic jam half a mile ahead, but you have to trust the vision. You have to trust the timing, the direction that God has on your life to know there's a reason why you're taking me this way. And I'm in that position right now in my life, to be honest. I've been redirected in the sense of I am building my professional speaking career, building and launching my own show, because I also have been finding myself in jobs where I don't always agree with the vision, the storytelling, the way interviews are being done. I'm not a
Hmm.
clickbait person. I'm not
Hmm.
doing stuff to have these viral moments where I'm
Right.
baiting people in with my questions to make
Oh
them
my
look up
goodness.
and
I
say
love you. I
something.
love you. I love
I
you.
value storytelling because I've been on the other side of it. I want
Hmm.
to be a reporter and a broadcaster that brings stories, that brings something to light that people aren't getting elsewhere. I don't want to just follow the norm of what everyone else is
Right.
talking about or
Right.
saying. And so through that, that's actually also an area of contention I've had in my career. But it took me, years to finally put into place what I already was considering. For years, I was like, I need to do my own show, much like you're doing. I need to do my own show. I need to
You
create
don't have your own show?
space. Well, I used to have a podcast and then I
I
stopped.
you listen.
Yeah.
You will be freaking awesome having your own show. I don't know what you're going to call it. Renee's reminders, Renee's rewind. I don't know, but you listen. You will be awesome. You will be. You got to do your own show. You have to get back on
Doing
that.
it.
You do.
It's actually launching in early March. We're
Okay.
going to be dropping the first episodes, and
Nice.
it's going to be a different it's going to be a different type of show in the sense that it's digital, but there will also be live components and opportunities for people to watch in person. So I'm bringing a lot with this show and a
Hmm.
lot of great necessary conversations. But this is my season of no longer questioning and hesitating why God is taking me off the turnpike. This is my season of just following and listening
Wow.
and truly letting go and letting God. And so I like to share that story because we've all been in that space in our lives at one point or another where it doesn't make sense. And when I looked at that screen on the navigator, I'm like, what is this? You have me all over the place. Like, I'm going on back roads. I'm going on places I've never seen before. It did not
Wow.
make sense why in that 5 minutes I was being redirected. It did not make sense why I was being taken off of a path that I was comfortable with, that I knew, that I had done every day. How are you breaking my routine? But sometimes you have to have that breakthrough moment. And it's a fine line between a breaking point and a breakthrough. And I've
Hmm.
learned to lean into the breaking points, those spaces where you change and break the norm and you are
Right.
allowing yourself to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That then opens up for those breakthrough moments. So that story of the turnpike, and I need to like actually put that out there somewhere else too. Like I need to speak that story still, it gives me chills. Because when I tell you I was driving by like I would
Listen,
have been sitting in that for hours.
that'll
For
preach. And
hours.
you think you were hungry then or angry then if you'd have been sitting.
Correct.
Yeah, that'll preach.
Exactly. The very things that I was sitting up mad about, upset
Right.
about, 5 minutes that was literally miles and miles. And the craziest part is I was right. I could not see it, but I was about to drive right into it.
Wow.
But I could not see it because where I was at in my car, the roads looked clear.
Yeah.
But the reality
Yeah.
was half a mile ahead of me was a massive disruption
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stoppage
Yeah.
that was waiting to block me. And God just
Yeah. And
put me right around it. So,
there's illustrations about, you can't see the navigate, you don't know where the
mhm,
navigation system is telling you, it's up in the satellites, up in the sky, it's up in outer
yeah,
space, and you can't see it, but you got to trust it. You hear its voice, you got to trust that it's taking you in the right direction. It's the same
mhm,
with God. We can't see him, but we have to trust him.
bingo,
We don't get the breakthrough without the trust. We don't get the
bingo.
breakthrough without the obedience. We don't get the breakthrough without the
Mhm,
faith. Yeah.
mhm,
So, another topic that you use when you're doing your motivational speaking is performing under pressure and sustaining excellence.
yes,
Performing under pressure, because that's big. I mean, even in professional sports, we see a lot of these cats, and that's something I'm looking forward to seeing with Sam Darnold. I don't think I
yes.
need to see Sam Darnold do it again. I've seen him under pressure
Mhm,
not perform well. And here's the biggest stage there is in the NFL, in professional football. Let's see if he can do it again like he did last week against the Rams. Great game last week against the Rams.
mhm.
Best game he's ever had in his career. But let's see if he can do it again. So what do you talk about
Yeah.
what is it that you say when you're talking about performing under pressure and sustaining excellence?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest key is exactly as we've been touching on around those character building defining moments. Anybody can do things right once in a while. Anybody can do things right when it's comfortable, convenient, when things are going your way. But when there's pressure, in terms of pressure, whether it was as an athlete, we're in overtime, it's golden goal, next goal wins, or tie game, and you're trying to, figure out a way to help your team win. Or in life, in those moments of questioning, in those moments of challenges, how do you respond? And it's easy to want to give up. It's easy to allow the pressure to be too much for you, quite
Mm,
frankly. And so I've learned through my experiences in those moments of pressure that you might make mistakes. You might even fail. There have been plenty of games, not as many games that I've lost, but
mhm.
plenty of games that I lost over the years of my playing career. And you don't always succeed, but you are always learning through those moments. So
Right.
in those pressure moments, in those defining moments, who are you? What kind of character do you have in those moments when things aren't easy, when you are having an ethical situation that unfolds in your job, for example, and you have the decision of, do I stay quiet or do I speak up? How do I speak up, more importantly, as well? So for me, it's understanding that in life, you are always put in the pressure cooker. You're always put in those
Mhm.
pressure moments,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you have to figure out how you're going to handle the heat. What are you going to do? And if you're going through life coasting without adversity, that in itself is a red flag, red flag.
Right.
But also, more
Right.
importantly, that means you're not putting yourself in enough situations that are stretching you and challenging you. So
Nice.
to sustain success in life, to be able to have any sort of success, whether it's spiritual, financial, relationships, professional, whatever it is you're looking to achieve in life and develop, you have to make sure that you're putting yourself in position to learn. And as you mentioned, the best learning happens, the best teacher happens in those defining moments of pressure. So
Yeah.
that is something I just feel like through my own experiences, it started in my core memories of childhood as
Mhm.
an athlete, that I started to understand, how do you take that deep breath, stand up strong,
Right.
and face and handle something, knowing this might break you.
Mhm.
Honestly, this
Mhm.
might this might emotionally set you back. This might be something that is very difficult for you. But again, breaking points or breakthrough,
Right.
which one is it going to be?
Right.
So I just feel that is something that is very difficult, because we all look at life as, if things are not going well, if we're dealing with challenges, something is wrong. And it's the
Mm-mm.
opposite. If you're
Mm-mm.
coasting through life struggle free, something is
Something's
wrong.
wrong. Right.
Challenges are not a bad thing. They teach you about, okay, maybe you're dealing with financial issues and you're finding yourself every 6 months in the same cycle of, scraping together to try to pay bills. That's an opportunity to learn how to be better financially, how to have better saving habits, spending habits. That is
Right.
a learning
Right.
opportunity. The difference is, in these pressure moments, are we breaking the cycle or are we continuing the cycle? Are we
Right.
allowing ourselves to continue to see them
That's good.
through, and we small short term get out of it, and then long
Mhm.
term are right back in it? Or
That's
are we
good.
doing what we need to learn through pressure to ensure that next time it happens, A, it won't happen. But if it
Right.
does happen again, we're better equipped to prepare and prepared for it.
That's good. That's good. My mother is watching right now, and my mother said,
Oh,
she said, "You go get it, beautiful black young special lady. You're going to be all right."
aw, thank
That's my
you.
mama
Thanks,
said.
Mama. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. So
Mama
sweet.
got it going on. Yeah, mama got it going.
I'm
Listen,
sure
you
she does.
Yeah, mama
I
got
love
it going
that.
on. Yeah, mama got it going on. There's just a whole bunch of questions I could ask you, but I'm gonna try to get to this one because I don't want to keep you all night. So you have a clothing line, our fashion, and do you model your own clothing line? Because I got a couple of pictures. I don't want you to think I'm stalking you or anything like that, but I got a couple of pictures of you when you're modeling and all. Is that the clothing line? And
So
because it's on
I do
Instagram and it's on
not.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Our fashion is that? Am I
you did
tripping or
your
what?
research. You did your research.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm learning in life. It's okay to be multifaceted, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, after all that we've just talked about. But I've always been told, you're doing too much. You're going to burn yourself out. And I do have other interests beyond broadcasting, and
Mm-hmm.
fashion is one of them. I enjoy, and honestly, it's not even just fashion, because I also enjoy interior design. I almost studied that in college. Ironically, that was almost my major. I
Okay.
enjoy mixing and matching styles. and colors and
Mm-hmm.
decorations and different looks. And what I kept noticing is that people were saying how much they love my outfits. And listen, sometimes people just say you look nice, love your
Right.
hair, love your fit, whatever. But I was like, no, 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 no. This is happening way too much. I'm getting stopped in the grocery store. I'm
Well,
getting stopped
you
at random
looking good in
spots.
those pictures. Like there's another one. Yeah, look at that one there. Whoa,
Thanks, Irving. Oh no, I can't. You're not.
whoa.
But I kept noticing people were telling me how I have a really good sense of style and they loved my outfits. So I do not have my own clothing line. And actually, I've considered maybe one day having my own line because I do have ideas. But what
Mm-hmm.
I do is I curate through my styles and looks. And right now, what my R Fashion Looks brand is, and I love that you did your homework on all of this, is just to promote where people can find the different looks that I've been wearing. Okay,
Oh,
you like
okay.
the blazer I have, or you like the purse that I'm holding, or whatever it is. Like, here's where you can find it. I'm not one to gatekeep. Sharing is caring. If you like something, here's the link to it. Go check it out yourself. So I actually do have a number of ways where I'm just literally giving people insight into my closet. Here's what I'm wearing. Here's where you can
Okay.
buy it. Here's where you can find it. Who's making it, and then hopefully one day it expands even more. This is like phase one of my opportunity to dabble into fashion, but we'll see where it goes, and who knows what the future will hold.
So do you actually do modeling? Aren't you? I mean, because you
Yes,
you have the
yes,
physique for a model. You're
yes.
you're you're tall and you're slim. That's usually what that's
I
the kind of model people look for, I guess.
Yes, yes, I do model as well. So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I am one that there is not a lot of what's it saying? A lot of grass doesn't grow under your feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one that believes that in life, if you have talents and interests, use it. If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it, is what I was always
Okay.
told. And life is way too short to waste when you have and worry about the what ifs and shoulda, coulda, woulda. So honestly, modeling, I've done runway fashion shows. I've been a part of really great
Nice.
photo shoots and different
Nice.
things like that. I've done acting as well because a lot of that correlates and goes hand in hand where I've been in
Mm-hmm.
commercials and different things like that. So I honestly love being able to just expand even in my career, which is why I'm not going to be limited. I'm not going to listen to what people say. I'm not going to be stuck in a box because why not? That's no fun. You
Right.
know, I'm
Right.
I'm too young. We're all too young because we have life left to live. We have
Mm-hmm.
breath in our lungs, which means we can all still be doing more of
Well, I'm a little bit farther down the road
experiences.
than you. I'm on the other side of the mountain. I was at the top when I was 50. Now I'm on the other side of the mountain.
No, who says this mountain? What is this over the hill thing? No,
I'm
you
on.
never
I didn't say
know.
over the
You
hill. I
never
just said on
know.
the other side of the mountain. I'm on the other side.
I cannot. It is. I just always believe. Listen, you probably got 80 plus more years than you. The way you are as far as
Oh,
working out and
not according
exercising.
to the
I'm mad at
Bible. I don't. Not according to the Bible.
Oh
I,
man, but
I
I
wish
do
I
just
had
feel
80.
like
Yeah,
you
I'm
never
good.
know. I do feel
Yeah,
like in life, there's just too many times that we find ourselves blocking our own blessings and
right,
opportunities. And I don't know what the future is going to hold. You know, I
right.
love broadcasting. I love professional speaking. I'm finally I'm finally publishing my first book. People don't know I have about 5 books written,
I was just getting ready to ask you. That was
not
my next question.
published.
You're an author.
Oh my
Can you help a
God.
brother? Do you write books? Do you write articles? I didn't know exactly what you wrote. What are your books and where can people find your books? Tell us the name of your books.
Yes,
Man, I couldn't find
yes.
anything.
So it's funny because I actually had a friend of mine that's like, why do you keep telling people you're an author? You haven't published your books yet. And I'm like, I have books written. My books are done. This is
Okay.
not me just wanting to be an author. I just
Mm-hmm.
haven't physically published them yet. But
Okay.
I actually did start out in journalism. What actually even led me to this path was I've always enjoyed writing. I was the kid in school that was excited when we had to do a 5-page paper. So I was
That
always
wasn't
one that was
me.
like,
We don't have that in common. We
that's
don't
how we
have that in
differentiate
common.
ourselves.
Listen,
Okay,
when I
that's
finished my PhD, I didn't read anything for 2 years. I didn't look at a book. I didn't read a newspaper. I didn't read anything for 2 years. Because that PhD wore me out.
yeah, that's a lot. Like, yeah, I'll give you a pass on that one because first of all, the fact you are a doctor in itself says a lot. All the power to you.
Woo.
Because my thesis for my master's was a lot. I can only imagine what your PhD was. So I do enjoy reading and writing, and I always had. And actually, that's what, when I remember my mom was like, well, you like writing. How about you consider studying communications? And so I got into the industry through my passion for writing, and then recognized, I actually prefer, I like to talk. So I prefer to be on camera.
No, you do? You like to talk? No.
I know, right? So, yeah, apparently I like to talk or something. I don't know.
But you make sense when you talk. You make sense when you talk, and it's informative, and it's entertaining, it's enlightening, it's refreshing when you talk. So don't stop
talking.
Believe
that I'm a shy person and actually very introverted, low key. But I've always liked writing. I have written articles and published articles. I've written articles with BET and ESPN, different networks. Down in DC, I wrote articles covering the Mystics, the Wizards. So I have written and published articles. I have not published my books yet. I actually have, as you can probably imagine, based off of even how I speak, a lot of insights on different types of experiences and learnings. So my books are similar to the books I like to read, of self-help books, where it's giving you concepts, it's breaking down metaphors, it's breaking down stories to make it relatable to you. Right. I love when I read a book and I'm learning about someone's life, but through that, it's something that relates and correlates to my own life that I can pull from, versus just, I was born in Ewing, New Jersey. And I mean, that's great too, to have biographies and autobiographies. Love that for people too. But personally, where I'm at right now, it's to help. It's to uplift others. And so I am first publishing my books that are self-help books. I also have workbooks as well that people are going to be able to purchase that allow you. I am a big person that's into journaling and writing and workbooks myself. So creating my own, that if you're building in your career, if you're building in your, whatever it may be, I've got workbooks dedicated that you can literally follow along with the workbook to have that professional development. But Irving, we are multifaceted here.
Yes.
I actually have other genres of books that I have of horror and different genres that are.
Did you just say horror?
I'm really excited. Yes.
Did you say horror? You wrote a horror book?
I have, as of this moment right now, I actually just had to count, because I, much like with this bigger conversation, have doubted myself as well, believe it or not. I have about 14 books. 5 of them are done. The others I've started. And it's just something that, much like the navigator tried to reroute me, best believe I haven't always listened to the navigator in my life. And I've had all these opportunities and things that I've done and just continue to put on the back burner, and one day, or maybe I won't, but it's time, maybe I will. So I actually truly am, when I say an author, like I write. I love to write, and I have books that are on my computer that I've already been typing up and written and have names for them and all types of characters and plots and storylines that just the world has not read yet. So it's time for me to start finally sharing those with the rest of the world.
Wow. I'm so glad you're on today. I just got a couple more questions, and hopefully I can have you back on so we can cover some more of this stuff.
Yeah, I would love that.
Just talk some more. Yeah. So I was watching, I don't know what I was watching. I think it was maybe your profile or your Renee Washington, Renee P. Washington, right? Renee P. Washington? Yeah. .com. And I saw you interviewing people, some high profile, Stephen A. Smith and Tom Brady and Emmitt Smith and the commissioner, Adam Silver from the NBA, and then actor Owen Wilson. Who was, out of all your interviews you've ever done, if you can remember, who was your most, I want to say memorable, or your most favorite? Who was the one you enjoyed the most interviewing?
Ooh, that is a tough question.
Because you got some major cats. You can interview and talk with some major cats.
Yeah, and honestly, that in itself has been such a blessing. It's been such a it even has taken me back, because when I got into this industry really quick, I actually studied public relations for my undergrad. My master's was in education leadership. My minors were in Spanish psychology. Nowhere in there did I say broadcasting or journalism. And so I made the pivot. I made the leap of faith. I've made many leaps of faith in my life, but one way I leapt was when I was way back when when I was finishing up undergrad, and realized I don't really want to be in a PR 9 to 5, Monday to Friday type of a role.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at that time thinking, I'll never get into reporting. It's too late for me. I had 8 internships in college, and none of them were
Wow.
in broadcast. They were all in marketing and social media management and public relations. So I, as the young, naive, 20, 21-year-old, thought it's too late because all of my classmates are studying and having internships in broadcasting and journalism with the local Philly networks, and I was not. And so I remember then thinking, I want to write a book. I want to be on TV. I want to be on big networks like ESPN. And within years, I was checking boxes off of things that I was accomplishing. Of course, the book is still getting published. And so one of those moments for me that were definitely a massive interview that was a breakthrough was having the chance to meet and speak with Maria Taylor for many
Mm.
reasons. One, throughout the entire from like the first day I started in this industry, the amount of times people have thought I was Maria Taylor,
Oh.
huge compliment. Please think I'm Maria. Anytime, Carrie Champion, Maria Taylor, there's so many Black women that people have literally said to me,
I'm not going to ask you why. Just
yeah, like I remember, like now I'm on NBC. I just, you can catch me on college broadcast. I did the USA curling for the Winter Olympic trials.
yeah,
I'm
you
like,
did
okay, now
curling for the
on
Winter
TV.
Olympics. I'm like, how in the world did you get to do curling for the Winter Olympics? Wait, that doesn't even make sense. You're
I don't
awesome.
mind stepping out into
Listen,
into
you are
new
awesome.
areas.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you. So that was another moment. I was on the broadcast doing play-by-play for the USA curling for the Winter Olympic trials, with the Winter Olympics coming up this February in Milan Cortina. I've been working with FIFA, where I realized they handpicked me to be one of the on-air hosts for a series that's coming out around the World Cup that's dropping.
Nice.
But it was that interview. It was that interview that was definitely a moment, because my entire start of my career, people would say, "Oh, I recognize you. I've seen you on TV." And I'm like, they just think I'm Maria Taylor. Like, they don't actually know me. And now I'm like, oh, actually, you know me. I'm not just Maria Taylor. I am now Renee Washington, that people recognize me. But also, it was a moment of she's been someone I've looked up to, and to be talking with her and texting with her and on the stage with her, and we're just having a conversation, and even just to hear her responses to, as I was introducing myself, and I'm like, wow, Maria Taylor thinks I'm a cool person. Like, what?
Yeah.
That was one of those moments of 2 Black women sharing a stage at an event that Stephen A. Smith was at that event, but there weren't a lot of Black people in general. And there were definitely not a lot of women. And here we are on stage together, having a conversation in front of hundreds of people. Here we are doing an interview together. And, in this world, a lot of times you're told only one Black woman, only one woman can be on a show or an interview or a panel at a time. And so that moment was just reaffirming for many reasons. Personally, definitely because of the comparisons to her, that now we are working together. And then also just to see we can share spaces and look at us being unapologetically Black queens that are accomplished and articulate and educated, that can, have a really intelligent conversation around sports and journalism. So that was one of many moments that definitely jumps out at me, though. Tom Brady was another one, but Tom is so media trained that, like,
right, yeah, he says all the right things, yeah.
Yeah, like it could have been an AI bot for all I know. Like Maria Taylor, we were face to face. She was way more personal, and Tom's a great guy. No knock on him, Tom. Sorry, but Tom was just doing a number of different interviews, and mine was one of them. And so it was just more like copy paste, rinse and repeat with him. But that also was a great moment. Don't get me wrong, because it was great to interview.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
And our team beat him in the Super Bowl, and I resisted all urge to bring that up. I did not bring it up, even though I wanted to. So it was a great moment.
Right. Actually, one of my first when I finished playing, I worked for CNNSI down in Atlanta, Georgia, and we had a show. I was working with Trev Alberts and Bob Lorenz. We had a show that was live on Sunday mornings from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And one of the first interviews that I did during the week was with Tom Brady when he first took over after Drew Bledsoe got hurt. And so he was one of my
Wow.
first interviews. They sent me up and I interviewed him. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I remember he was one of my first interviews that I did. Obviously, we did it during the week and we had it on during the show. But yeah, that was
Yeah.
he was the beginning then. He was just starting off, just a
Wow.
string
Yes.
bean, just a string bean of a guy. Nobody knew what was what was getting ready to happen, but it happened obviously.
Yes.
One last thing before we go, I saw when I was doing all my little research, and I didn't ask you to send me. I was trying to do my research without bothering you, so I didn't ask you to send me a bio.
Oh, I could have
Normally,
definitely sent you
someone like
stuff.
you, normally someone with your status, I would ask for them to send me a bio, just so because everything that's online, you can't believe everything that's online. It's not always accurate. So, I've gotten caught a couple of times saying, "Well, wasn't this?" And like, no, that's not. So I learned my
Well, my
lesson.
website helps because that's mine.
You got a great
Yes.
website.
Yes.
Matter of fact,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to imitate your website with my website.
Ooh.
I'm going to take some stuff from you and call my guy. I'm like, listen, go here to Renee's website. You see this, you see that, you see, put it on mine.
Okay.
It's so organized.
Listen,
It's
happy to
very,
help.
yeah, it's very nice. So you're an Eagles fan, correct? Okay,
Born and raised.
there you go, go Birds. I saw a post that you put up about what is his name? Mannion getting hired, the new OC.
Oh yes, Sean
Yeah.
Mannion.
So yeah, Sean Mannion getting hired and talking about the Super Bowl and who's going to be the Super Bowl. So talk to me a little bit about the Eagles and where you think they are right now and some of the woes that they've had during the season and what's been the scuttlebutt in terms of, what people are saying. Was it Kevin Patullo? Was it Nick Sirianni? Was it Jalen Hurts? Was it AJ Brown? Who was the problem and why was there so much dysfunction in the on the offensive side of the ball this year? And is this offensive coordinator Sean Mannion coming in? Is he going to be able to? I know what I would say, but I want to hear what you would have to say about the new
Oh boy.
coordinator and what you think is going to happen based on what already happened last season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as a former player yourself, when it comes to success at a high level, talent is just part of that. You need to have talent, don't get me wrong, but you
Right,
also need to
right.
have chemistry. You also need health. There's just certain things that look at Bo
Hmm.
Nix and the Broncos. You just unfortunately it's hard to work around that. It's not impossible, but it's hard.
Right.
And when you look at teams like Drake May and the Patriots and what Mike Vrabel's doing there, when you
Hmm.
look at even Sam Darnold and the Seahawks and this resurgence for Sam Darnold with
Right.
them, a lot of it comes down to chemistry as well. Because
Hmm.
in order to get the best out of your teammates, you have to be able to want to show up every day. You have to be able to be on the same page and understand tendencies and where they're throwing the ball if it's your quarterback, where you're tackling, which
Hmm.
routes you're running. And I just feel as though for the Eagles, what a lot of people underestimate is the power of an offensive coordinator that's not giving any good play calling. The schematics that we saw from the Eagles offense were very predictable. It was
Hmm.
very elementary, and it was not the makings of a team that was coming off of winning a Super Bowl with those pieces still back. And so for the Eagles to come into this year and you still had Saquon Barkley, 2K say Saquon. You still had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. You still had a tight end like Dallas Goedert around Jalen Hurts, still in their prime, coming off of a Super Bowl. You lost a lot of your defense, and that was the big question we had coming into the season because they just couldn't afford to pay to keep all of their defense. But you still were able to bring in some great youngsters, and of course, bringing back someone like Cooper DeJean and
Hmm.
just the Kobe Dean getting healthy. They had so many pieces that came back between their three phases of the game. And all season, defense and special teams had been consistent. Offense was not. And the reality is, you have guys that have just won a title. They're
Right.
not going to be complacent sitting around watching Ken Batul on the offense continue to squander play after play, drive after drive, so many three and outs, so many low
Hmm.
scoring games without wanting a change. And the same way I was frustrated as a fan, imagine now having to show up to work every day
Right.
the same way people don't want to show up to their jobs because they're annoyed with their boss or a
Right.
colleague, and you're showing up every day out there on the field. You're AJ Brown. This is why he's frustrated. You're not getting the passes you want. It's not about Jalen Hurts. It's about the play calling.
Hmm.
The play that they drew up for that game saving attempt when the Eagles had one last play,
Right. Right.
timeout, it's going to Kevin
That was
Patullo and Nick Sirianni.
that was Pee Wee
Awful.
football. That was Pee Wee football. Everybody,
Awful. We're
that was
going to
somebody
triple coverage, Dallas
just run
Goddard down the
that.
middle of the field for the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That
the type
was
of stuff.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And we've seen that all season though, Irving. And that's
Oh,
what that's what made it boil over, because
hmm
I remember around the time, honestly, even when they played the Rams early on, and definitely that back-to-back stretch of losing to the Jets and then the Giants, sorry, not the Jets.
hmm
Losing to the Giants and the Broncos, that was the time Kevin Patullo should have been fired. And that was very early in the season. So, by week 4 or 5, I know I was having conversations with other people like, wait a minute, Kevin
Right.
Patullo is not really drawing up good plays that fit this team, because that's the
hmm
key.
Right.
Coordinators,
There you
teams,
go.
they have to fit. You have to have, I don't care how talented you are, you have to have the schematics of your team fit the talent
Right.
of your team. It
Right.
did not match. And
Exactly.
so I think the frustration then became, well, why isn't Nick Sirianni making a change? This is his guy. But that's why.
hmm
And so now you have the frustrations with Kevin. Then you have the frustrations with Nick, because you're supposed to be head coach. You could take over play calling. You
hmm
could make a change. There's options there. And yet they never made a change. And then eventually you lose the season behind it. So
Right.
now you have the 6 different offensive coordinator in 6 years. There's
Right.
been so
Yeah.
much change and turnover. And one part of that is because they've been winning. So yes, getting to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, winning one of them, being a team that's a playoff team consistently, you're going to lose coordinators. You
hmm
look at over the years, the great names that they've had coming in that
Kellen
they've
Moore
lost.
last year.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Kellen Moore again,
hmm
absolutely. Like Kellen
Sean.
Moore was primed to get a
hmm
big opportunity.
hmm
So Shane Steichen,
Shane Steichen.
you can
Yep.
go
hmm
you can go back over years of great names they've had. So I do think that I'm a little torn. I wanted to see a Mike McDaniel, to be honest, for the
Right.
Eagles. I wanted to see
Right.
somebody that I felt like is a little bit more established. They don't need a young, still need to prove it in your first OC job, uncertain guy. You need an established guy. That's why someone like Vic Fangio works.
Right.
You need someone that's
Right.
older, that has been around the game longer, that is going to come right in and demand the respect, has the credibility, has the experience, because that's where
hmm
this team is. They're not
hmm
in a rebuild. That's why Mike Vrabel and the Patriots, I feel like, were able to turn their 4-win season around to be in the Super Bowl. When you have those right leadership pieces in place, they can elevate the already established foundation of talent. So I do think for the Eagles, it's okay.
Well,
He's
what?
33. He was in the league like 2 years ago,
Right.
or
Right.
3 years ago.
Right. 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
2023, he was still an active player. So you maybe have the connection of that.
so let me say what is not going to happen, because he's what, 33 years old. He's not.
33 years old,
I'm
yeah.
sure he's a great football mind. I'm sure he was
Yeah.
impressive when he talked to whomever he talked to, Mr. Laurie and whoever else he had to talk to, Sirianni, and talk to them about his concepts in terms of offense and what he would do with his team, the Philadelphia Eagles, so on and so forth. But what's not going to happen is, when there's no changes in the coaching staff, obviously this 33-year-old young man who's a first-time play caller, he's not going to come in and call the plays. He's not going to come in and put his offense in.
Correct.
Because normally when that happens, they bring their coaches with them, because they don't want to have to reteach the coaches his offense and then teach the players his offense. So what's going to happen is it's going to remain the same. It's going to be Sirianni's offense, and he's going to learn Sirianni's offense. Manion's going to learn Sirianni's offense and maybe put a couple of his own wrinkles in, but it's still going to be the same. It's still going to be the same.
And Nick Sirianni's not a great play caller,
No,
unfortunately.
but what I'm saying, we're going to see a lot of the same thing. But it's amazing how when I asked you about, you didn't know this. I'm noticing. I'm just sitting here laughing with it myself.
I cheated around it.
You shifted and went into broadcaster analyst mode. You went into another realm. You were hitting it, girl. Like, watch her. She going.
I gave you the politically correct answer because the reality is I don't think this is a great move. I think
No, it's not. It's not. You're right.
There were other names. I know I just saw Frank Smith, who was with the Dolphins. Now he's with the Vikings. There were some other names they were toying around. Gerard Johnson, I believe, was another one that I saw there. There were other names that I think were just a bit more established. But to be honest, it was already concerning to me it took so long.
Well, it was almost 3 weeks. Yeah, it was almost 3 weeks.
Exactly.
There are, well, first of all, the coaches in the NFL, they talk to one another. They communicate with one another. So there's some kind of stigma, there's some kind of cloud, there's some kind of dark space that's hovering over the Eagles that these coaches that they wanted, they can't get because they don't want to come here for whatever reason. We'll always be guessing, but Sirianni, Mr. Lowry. Well, it has to do with a couple of things, and I believe some of it has to do with Jalen and what he wants to run or is capable of running or not running. Because again, when you look at the offense last season, when Kellen Moore, who was a proven play caller, when he was with the Dallas, 5 years, they were in the top 5 offense for 5 years in a row. So he's a proven play caller. He comes in and they start the season off. In those first 4 games, they were all over the place. Everybody's questioning what's going on. They have their bye, and then they come back and they start running the ball. And that's when Saquon took off. But because the offense, in terms of the running game, was so spectacular, we didn't notice the vanilla-ness of the passing game. The passing game was still just slants and outs and goes and stop routes. We didn't notice that. Why? Because the running game was so spectacular. When they won the Super Bowl last season, the passing game, they were 28th in the league in passing.
Yep.
Although we won the Super Bowl. So he still had to dummy down.
Dominated.
Yeah, he had to dummy down, not dummy down, like I don't like to use that word, but he still had to dummy down the offense and keep it pretty simple. And I think that's for Jalen and what he's comfortable with or not comfortable with. But that's again, the responsibility, and that's where Patullo comes in the blame for, because that's the responsibility of an offensive coordinator. Not only is he supposed to call the plays, but he's also supposed to coach the quarterback and put his quarterback in a position to do what he does best more times than not. And Patullo was not able to do that with Jalen Hurts. And that's why we saw
and that is why I stressed and wanted them to bring in a more veteran seasoned play caller. Because I know I saw all these crazy things come out after the hiring was announced regarding Jalen Hurts having had a different play caller every year since 2016, going back to his college career. And when you have a quarterback that's had so many different play callers and voices and, schemes and different things, you needed someone that was going to come in and just be a sense of stability, a sense of calm, a sense of connecting with the quarterback. Because exactly to your point, your offensive coordinator has to bring out the best of all your guys, especially your quarterback. And you can't be drawing up plays that don't fit with his range, his arsenal, his arm, his passing range, because it's only setting him up for failure. And then it trickles down from there, because now the receiver's not getting the ball. Now you have no passing game. And then to your point, with the success the Eagles had last year, you're not going to run all over teams again this year. The playbook is out. Everyone knows the running game, which is ironic because there was a stretch of time for the Eagles. They never ran the ball. Back DeAndre Swift and other running backs they never ran the ball. So they finally started running it, but we had to lean so heavily on the run game. There was no passing game. And then here comes Kevin Patullo with a playbook that's not great. It was a recipe for disaster. And so I do unfortunately worry, because the Eagles, I do still think, even when last playoff run was very dominant, the offense was spectacular. It wasn't just the Super Bowl. We all saw that. But it, to me, was an anomaly of, you have the talent. You have, I think, Jeffrey Lurie and I think they do a great job building the team and finding a way to work within salaries and caps and contracts to bring in guys that are going to be those hungry, prove it guys that are going to step in and just step up, essentially. But we haven't seen the coaching match that, unfortunately. And Nick Sirianni's been in the hot seat for years. I mean, it hasn't even just been this season. Last year's Super Bowl saved his job in the sense that people then were okay with Nick. But people weren't okay with Nick 2 years ago. The first round loss to Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, when Jalen Hurts and the offense again didn't look great. It's been Nick Sirianni's been a common denominator. So I do worry that unless they change something around the coaching structure, the culture, I'm sorry. I know we're gonna keep this is supposed to be an hour, but I know we're over. to get your thoughts now. I'm gonna ask you the question.
Okay, ask me a
AJ
question.
Brown, Nick Sirianni butt heads. You're in the wild card playoff game. You're winning, but your offense isn't playing great. What was it? The second quarter? It was the first half. That I do know. And you have your top receiver who just dropped the ball twice. As a head coach, should you be charging at that player, knowing who AJ Brown is, to get the bleep off the field or whatever he said? Is that the time and what are your thoughts on that moment of Nick Sirianni and AJ Brown going head to head with him, rushing? He was rushing everybody off the field,
Right,
but
right.
specifically,
Well,
you're going at AJ Brown in that moment.
and AJ Brown was moving like a sloth the whole game. Even prior to that, he was not putting forth the effort. He was very lax in what he was doing. He was winding up in the wrong places, coming in motion to put himself in a position to be able to block a certain guy. There were a couple of times where Saquon could have gotten at least 15, 20 more yards had AJ gotten his block the way he should have positioned himself in terms of the motion. So I'm sure Nick was frustrated with all of that because he was, given the fact that, he's sending cryptic messages and last year reading a book on the sidelines, I want the ball and we're getting you the ball now. And now you're going to act like this. No, it probably wasn't the time. The time for Nick Sirianni should have been 2 years ago, setting A.J. Brown straight. He should have set him straight 2 years ago before he took that book out on the sidelines and started doing all this crazy stuff over the last couple of years. So, yeah, it was out of Nick's hands because he didn't handle A.J. 2 years ago the way he should have. But I'm also of the mindset with this because I liken that to a play. When I played for the Eagles, my offensive coordinator, John Gruden, was younger than me. I was in my 30s. He was younger than me. My position coach, Gerald Carr, he was younger than me. And there was a play where I kind of took too long. There's a play where I had the option of running a go or running a slant. And I took too long to make up my mind. And Ty Detmer threw the ball, and it got intercepted by Aaron Glenn, and he ran in for a touchdown. We're playing the Jets. And I come off the field, and my position coach, he was up one side of me and down the other, just yelling and screaming in front of everybody. But I'm old school. Even though he's younger than me, he's my coach. And I can't, I have to respect him as my coach. So I'm not going to go back at him and banter back and forth. I'm just going to receive what he has, what he does, what he says, and however manner he says it, and go sit down and come back and do a better job. And I did. I went back out in the field and caught the winning touchdown pass, so all was well. So the whole concept or the whole way of doing things, coach and player, and the coach has the authority, and what the coach says, the player does, that's out of the window. These players and coaches in this new generation, and people ask me all the time, would I want to be a coach? No, I couldn't be a coach right now because I couldn't handle a guy like AJ Brown doing all that stuff. Oh no, I would get fired. I would get fired.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the wrong time because Nick Sirianni should have handled AJ Brown last season when he started all this craziness. But there's so much disdain towards, even with the fans, so much disdain towards AJ Brown now. I don't even know that he'll be back next year. He shouldn't even want to come back because the fans don't want him back, let alone any of the players. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
He did have 3 drops in that game that were
it was terrible. You can't
catch it very bad.
you cannot ask for the ball and make all that noise and cause all that disruption and go out in the field and mess up. You got to be perfect. If you're going to do that, you got to be perfect.
Back it up. If you're going to talk it, you got to back it up. But I do think, to your point, and this is why your answer actually perfectly exemplifies why I'm concerned. The Eagles have had issues that they've never addressed that just continue to roll, not just game after game, week after week, season after season. And because of the fact there's been so many different play callers, it actually, to me, is giving like divorced parents or the parents that are trying to be friends with their kids chemistry with the Eagles. We're not going to get into you the same way that like an Andy Reid, Mike Rabel, Peterson even maybe would get into you. And so they've allowed these behaviors, these comments. I would have definitely had a conversation with AJ Brown, especially as you mentioned, the book would have been if never bought the book, buy the book. At that point, we're having a conversation because I don't care if you like to read. I love to read also. You're not reading during a game. If
Who
you feel
takes
like
a
you need
who takes a book out on the sidelines and start? That's
during a
disrespectful for your
game,
teammates. Disrespectful to
exactly.
the coaches. Disrespectful to the game of football. Who does that?
Exactly. You don't do that. And I again, and I understand mental health and needing to do things to reset
That's a
and that
bunch of
you need to
hogwash.
find a
Yeah,
way. You
yeah.
need to find a way within the realms of the football game to better manage your mental health and emotions to be able to reset. It should not take having to read a book. I like to journal. Am I going to bring out a notebook and a pen in the
Right.
middle of a broadcast because I need to reset? So you as a competitor need to find ways, and these are the types of conversations. I don't know all the conversations being had, but I'm imagining it didn't happen since we
It
didn't see a
didn't
change.
happen. Right.
These are the types of conversations that needed to be had. Instead of Nick Sirianni barking back at fans or wanting to jump in AJ Brown's face in the
Right.
wild card round, have that same energy behind the scenes to get into these guys in a respectful way, because you are, to your point, the age thing in itself changes the whole coaching landscape. But it shouldn't. That's your coach.
It
I don't
shouldn't.
care if
That's
they're
right.
33. That is
Right.
your coach. But if you're not establishing that dynamic of a
Exactly.
healthy boundary that I'm going to want the best for you, which means I'm going to get into you at times, I'm going to yell at you, and you are going to respect me as a coach. I don't care if you're the starting whatever position
Right.
or a practice player. I'm demanding the same respect from everyone, and that was never the case. And it
Never
allowed the
established.
team
Yeah.
to have a culture that is dysfunctional, that
Right.
is broken, and that does feel like, to me, AJ Brown is just the most vocal. But there's other guys that are feeling
Right.
the same way.
Right.
There's other frustrations. He's just one, he's not going to back down because of where he's at in his career and just who he is as a person. So he's gonna go toe to toe with Nick Sirianni. But
Right.
they didn't develop a good enough culture this season, last season, the season before to create the respect the same way some other teams are. So
Right.
to be honest, I don't know a 33-year-old offensive coordinator that was a quarterback coach is going to be able to create that either. That's why I said
He ain't changing
Nick
nothing.
Fangio.
He ain't changing nothing. He ain't gonna change nothing.
Yeah.
Well, listen, sis, we're gonna have you on again. I want to say this about you, just so you know. You are a very special, never to be repeated miracle of human personality.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's you. That's you.
That is amazing.
You can call. Listen, I know we didn't exchange phone numbers, but you can email me, Uncle Irving, at any time. I am at your service. Just holler at a brother. I'm going to be following you. I'm going to be watching you. I'm going to be encouraging you. I'm going to be praying for you, and I'll be cheering for you. Nothing but there's no glass ceiling over your head, sister. The sky's the limit for you. You can do and accomplish whatever you set your mind to. You're beautiful. You're hardworking. You got God's favor all over you. If people can't see it, I see it. And whatever doors you need to open, God's going to open them. And he's going to shut doors to protect you. He's going to keep doors shut to protect you. But wherever you place your feet, just like he told Josh, wherever you put your feet, I'm going to give it to you. God's going to give it to you. Yep.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you pouring into me and sharing just speaking over me in that regard, because the timing of, nothing happens by accident or catches God by surprise. We are having this conversation at this time for a reason. And I tell you, I am literally in a season of 100% going all in for what and who God is calling me to be.
Good.
And so I'm excited for all the incredible things that I'm building and developing and praying over that I'm going to be bringing, including conversations like this. So I'm so glad that we were able to carve out this time. And any way I could ever help, let me know.
I appreciate you. Listen, my mama's watching right now. If you're watching, I'm going to say hi to them. But we have a prayer line every morning at 7 a.m. So I just want to let you know I'm going to be using your illustration about the turnpike tomorrow morning.
Oh my God, I love that.
I'm gonna give you credit for it the first time I use it. After that, it's mine.
Okay. It was my experience.
I'm gonna give you credit the first time. When I use it after that, it's mine.
Oh my! I'm so mad at myself that I did not take like a video or something of that moment, but I didn't need to because the visual itself says a lot.
Right here. Yeah,
you got
tell
it.
the story.
Take it and run with it. Tell that story because
God bless
that
you.
is part of it too.
I appreciate you, sis. Listen, where can the people find you? Where can they look you up, like on IG and social media? Where can they find you?
Absolutely. So I am at Renee P. Washington across all things social media except for X because my full name does not fit. So it's Renee P. Wash there. And then my website is reneepwashington.com. And that's where I house everything. So I wear many hats. I have a lot going on in my career, but you can find whether you want to book me to be a professional speaker or talk broadcasting opportunities with me, whatever it is, videos of my interviews and different things and shows are all on there. So that's reneepwashington.com as well. And thank you again so much. I really appreciate you allowing me to join your show. You do a
Oh,
tremendous job, and I'm
you're a
excited to
blessing.
continue to see all the great stories, interviews, and conversations that you're creating for people to be able to tap into.
I appreciate it. And she does, y'all, she
Yes.
does brand partnerships as well with creative
Yes.
content. Yeah, she does. I didn't even get into all of that, but she
I have
does
to go
that as well.
record
She
some
and
content now.
okay, she and I are going to talk about that later. Listen, sis, thank you so much. I'm going to say hi to my people and get off. I'm going to let you go right now. God bless you. Love you. Thank you so much. And I will be in touch, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
God
God
bless
bless.
you. All
Everyone
right.
have a great evening. Be warm.
Thank you.
Stay warm out there.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Renee Washington in the house. Did y'all listen to that interview? I see you, Star Wars and Eddie Casper and Billy Bell and was that Rob Coles? Mama's still in the house. My sister Hope is in the house. Let me get my cursor over here so I can read all these. Who's that? Vincent Capriati is in the house. Shout out to all of you. That was a great interview. That was a great time. Good gracious. She has it going on. Bright star as an anchor and analyst on ESPN, NBC. And man, if you go to her website, reneewashington.com, go to her website and check her out. She's got a lot. I mean, it's just enlightening and refreshing to go through her website and see what she's doing and all the things that she's offering. She's got that thing like structured really well. I have a website not similar to hers, but it's called irvingfryer.com that I'm trying to do what she does. So I'm going to have my guy who does my website go look at her website and incorporate some of what she does on her website onto my website because she's really just, it's just awesome. That's just refreshing. She's like one, if not the best, but one of the best guests I've ever had on the Fryar Place, here at the Fryar Place. That's awesome. And I've had some awesome people here, and she's one of the awesomest. Is that a word? Awesomest? Anyway, we've been on here an hour and a half. It's time to go, y'all. Listen, I appreciate all of you. We'll be back next week. And listen, I'm going to start doing something a little bit different. Yes, we're going to try to be on every Friday. But a lot of times when I'm asking people, whether it's a former player, whether it's some kind of celebrity, whether it's just a person of interest, when I'm asking them to be my guest here at the Fryar Place on a Friday at 7 p.m., which is normally when we broadcast live, a lot of people are unable to do that. So I'm going to start being more flexible and ask them when are they available. And whenever they're available, that's when I'm going to go live. And if I have time, like say if it's not like the next day, if I have time, I'm going to do a post to advertise, to make you aware of the fact that, okay, tomorrow, such and such is going to be here at the Fryar Place with me. So I'm going to start coming on at any time. Yes, we're going to maintain our Fridays, particularly when we come on our wellness week with Donna Marie. That's definitely going to be on a Friday, but I'm going to more than likely be on any other day of the week at any time. I'll try to give you a heads up so you can follow. But I'm going to open up the doors, open up the floodgates, and try to be a little more flexible instead of just boom, 7 o'clock on Fridays. Because this was a great, she couldn't come on Fridays. And if I would have just stuck to Fridays, I don't know if I would have ever been able to have her on. Here we are Saturday, right before, and she gave me my lesson for tomorrow morning too, right before Sunday. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Love on yourself. Love on one another. We only got one shot at this thing. Let's do it right. All right? God bless you. We'll see you next show. Good seeing y'all. Thanks for your support.